The Olympic Games, an event that showcases the elite sportsmen and women from around the world, the best of the best. The 1996 Atlanta Games marked 100 years of the modern Olympics, and it was watched by a record-breaking 3.2 billion people worldwide. 90% of the potential TV viewing audience tuned in to watch. Now, watching it, I can tell you, was memorable. What was it like to win an Olympic gold medal? It must have been unforgettable. Now, a British rower once referred to this person as the ultimate god of rowing. He has a name, and his name is Xeno Muller. Xeno, how are you doing?
I'm lovely, John. I'm lovely, and I'm so grateful to have known you for over 20 years now.
I know. Where did that time go? I can't believe it.
Wow.
Yeah, because when I met you, the social media didn't exist.
No.
Yeah,
But life goes 100 miles an hour.
Doesn't it just? Yeah. And I got to say, I love the tropical setting as well. It's, you're in California, aren't you? Costa Mesa, is it? You're still, yeah.
Costa Mesa, south of LA, north of San Diego. We planted it all.
Exactly. It's much better weather. I mean, the reason I've got these screens up here is because everything here in South Wales is, well, we had our summer, which lasted about 1 week. And now we're back to rubbish weather again. So that's just...
I'm really excited to answer your questions, because what a great opportunity for me to speak to your audience. It's so cool. It's an honor, John. It's an honor to be able to talk to you.
Do you know what? When I messaged you, I was thinking, like, I wonder if you'll be up for this or not. Do you know, the fact that you've said yes, that you'll do it is honestly, that means so much to me. It really does. It's absolutely amazing. Because I'll tell you what I was thinking of with this. It's because we're now less than a year before the Paris Olympics. And it would, given that you won at the 96 Atlanta Olympics, it would be fascinating to hear what it was like in that build-up. You know, let's say like from a year out, you know, what that build-up was like. And then equally, your other run at the Sydney Olympics. So just to summarize for everyone, there are going to be two versions of this interview. If you're watching on Instagram, it'll be the first 15 minutes. If you want the full version, which is going to be about 45, 50 minutes long, that'll be on YouTube and Rumble. So if you're watching on Instagram, this will cut off at 15 minutes. I'm sorry, that's what Instagram do. So we've got to work around it. So,
the lead up. The lead up to Atlanta was the World Championship in Finland in 95, right?
Okay.
Atlanta 96.
Yeah.
I don't like cold weather.
Me neither.
I don't like rain.
Yeah.
And Finland had cold weather and rain.
Oh, cool.
And I think it's kind of funny. Either I came in last or fifth. I don't remember. Let's just say I came in last.
Okay.
But what was interesting about Finland is that after I watched the race on the TV, I realized that wasn't that far off. That was a weird one. Because when I was racing that race, I thought they left me behind, that I was just not in the groove.
Right.
And then I watched the race back, and I realized, holy cow, I was just maybe a length.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe a length and a half behind first. Something like that.
Right.
And I thought, what the bloody heck was going on in my brain, right? So then at that time, I lived in Boston because I just graduated from the university in Rhode Island from Brown.
Right.
And I had to reconfigure my thinking, okay? So Marty Aitken, my coach back then, I told him I was going to move to California to find good weather, warm weather, no rain.
Yeah.
And so I took off. I drove across the country with a friend of mine, Henry. And we showed up here in November of 95. And then training started in the Newport Beach Harbor. You know, the beauty is I switched to Marty Aitken as my coach that September of 95. That's when I said, I'm done with the other coach.
Yeah.
And let's do it. And the beauty about Marty was that he had a very, very clear training program. Very clear. Everything was mapped out. Not that the other guy didn't have it as well, but this was more psychologically geared to to me specifically. We would row in the morning, ride the road bike in the afternoon on the bike path,
Right.
have some strength training mixed in, and I would just grind away. And I knew that I don't want a repeat of 95. And I also didn't want a repeat of the 92 Olympics. Because the thing that you may have known or not is that at the 92 Olympics, I was interviewed by Swiss TV live right after I missed the finals, at making the finals. And they asked me, hey, I was talking about winning a bronze medal at these 92 Olympics, that I had the caliber to do it, which is true because the guy who ended up winning the bronze medal is someone that I had beaten 2 months earlier, right?
Oh my goodness, right.
And I was so angry. Yeah, the Polish guy got the bronze. I had it on a good day. This could have happened, right? I would have been a 20-year-old. So I said on live TV that this is all bull crap. Yeah. And that I will win in Atlanta. I said it. Yeah. I will win in Atlanta. And the amount of flack that I got from certain parts of the sports governing body of Switzerland was, they just said, you don't say that. As an athlete, you don't say that. In the United States, it would care less. Yeah. Anyone says, hey, I want to win the gold medal. And then they bottom out, and who cares, right? Yeah. But in Switzerland mattered. Okay. So I self-inflicted a wound in 92 by proclaiming that I want to win in 96, right? And then in 95, rain, cold weather, and I lose it. So I really had a score to settle going into 1996. And what was crazy is that it wasn't a straight shot. I mean, I had a World Cup I had to win. I had international regatta I had to compete at to try and qualify. And so going into the Atlanta Olympics, I was quick. Right. But what we needed to figure out was to make sure that every race was going to be won, right? Yeah. But this is where it's important. When I won the heat and the semifinal, and I had the overall best time compared to everyone else, I said to Marty Friday before my Saturday final, I said to Marty, hey, Marty, why don't they just give me the medal now? Why do I have to race that final tomorrow when everyone has now seen that I have won and I can beat everyone directly and indirectly? And what was funny about Marty was that he's Australian, and he got all fired up and used a bunch of choice words. Right. And he said, look, Xeno, number one, you're in the finals. This has never happened before. So you have gotten to the next level. The other thing is half of these people are going to get a medal. So you should be in that half. Yeah. Trying to be in the half of the people that are going to get a medal. Because any medal is a good medal. And look, Xeno, if you're fourth, you go for third. If you're third, you go for second. And dang it, if you go for when you're second, you go for first. And that really helped me not go into the final thinking that I only had a gold medal to lose. That was important. And so what was interesting about the race as well is that the last 500 meters, you and whoever's listening to you right now will know that. Anyone else in the world could care less, I guess. Yeah. But that 136.56, that was the last 500 meters. I remember you wound it up so much, didn't you? Yeah. 136.56. To this day, I believe it's the fastest last 500 meter sprint in the men's single scull worldwide in history. I don't know whether it's even the fastest first 500. Yeah. But no one really gives a hoot about it, okay? Except me thinking, hey. It's just it's nice knowing that you had that monumental kick at the end. Because I think,
Because Porter, am I right?
I
Derek
was
Porter
that
went out
nuts.
quick. Yeah.
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 That I was nuts enough to have such a kick, right?
Yeah.
But that's what made the race really fun to watch, because I was behind, and then I had to turn on the freaking afterburners and try and make the line, right?
Yeah.
So, and you know, my dad passed away after the '92 Olympics. So my mom, as a widow,
Right.
was standing on the grandstands, just jumping up and down, crying, because she knows how much effort, how much sacrifice, how much pain, what a thankless job at times it is to be an amateur athlete. And then luckily my wife, at the time my fiance, she was there too.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this career defining day, the most important people were there, you know. So I won, and then I won. Funny thing is, then we got married, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna quit. I'm done. Never gonna touch a rowing boat again. It's like Steve Redgrave saying after the '92 Olympics.
The famous quotes.
Shoot him.
That's it.
Shoot him if he ever steps close to the boat again, and then he does 2 more Olympics. Or 1 more. I don't know what he did.
The one we remember, it was actually at the Atlanta Olympics. I remember that was what he famously said, if I'm seen anywhere near a boat, shoot me. Yeah. And then he rocks up at Sydney.
No. Rowing at that level, you don't know it's insane when you do it. It's years later that you think it's insane.
Yeah.
And you know all that. You know tell me. You tell me.
Yeah, I was gonna. Can I just clarify a second? How much mileage were you doing per week? Did I hear right that you're doing close to 200 kilometers a week in training? Was that the sort of mileage you were churning out?
Okay, so once we got closer to rowing on to racing, both practices were usually on the water. Here in the United States, the second practice was on land.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just to avoid little injuries.
Right.
Going 22, 24 Ks in the morning and about 20 Ks in the afternoon puts you right around 42,000 meters a day. You know, I mean, I mean, you very quickly start hitting some high numbers, right?
Yeah. Because were you training every day? Was there rest days factored in at all? You know, if you're training like 2-3 times a day, it would have to be.
I had a day of rest.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but I also, you know, it's interesting. I also listened to my body.
Yeah.
So I would blow practice off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's important. Look, if you're obsessed, you're your own worst enemy. Okay. You can train yourself into oblivion and not get up, right? So it's really important that you kind of listen to your mind and body and say, when the body says, can you please take a freaking break?
Yeah.
And then you'll say, well, I probably should. And then the next day, you're so guilty that you're going to train anyways, right?
Yeah.
So, and here's the other thing. If you don't train, someone's going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's terrible. You don't want to get your butt kicked.
Yeah.
I didn't want to come in. I wasn't training to come in second. I was training to try and beat the people.
Yeah.
You know? Anyhow.
But no, because it's interesting a point you've made, because I've heard of people, even on the indoor rowing scene, there are some people that are there was one guy who did about 1,000 days in succession without a single day off. And there have been times where I've wondered, I think the longest streak I ever did was like 70 days in a row. But I've always wondered, is that if there's a fear that if you take a day off, that everything's going to fall apart, but it's not. It's almost like that, you know, it's that fear of, you know, what's your take on this?
All right. You can row and make it a stroll. It's okay to stroll and take a stroke. Yeah. The level of speed that you use varies. So if you do listen to your body and say, okay, today I'm tired,
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's do about 25 minutes on the erg. And when you do it, well, that day you erg. That
Yeah.
day counts.
Right.
You did row. Okay.
I see.
And
Yeah.
I think the beauty about that is that it does show you your discipline and consistency.
Right.
Okay. But
Yeah.
when I was rowing, I would first I would reduce intensity. Then I would reduce volume, and then
Right.
I would say, forget it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the movie theater.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of doing anything.
Yeah.
So,
So actually,
okay.
Yeah,
So
go
I
on, go on.
quit.
Yeah.
I quit rowing.
Oh
I
yeah,
quit
yeah,
after
yeah.
the
Let's go back to
96
that. Yeah.
Olympics.
Yeah.
I thought I was done. I need to make real money, right?
Yeah.
And I gained 40 pounds. And it was a weird 40 pounds from 220 to 260.
Right.
It's a weird one. I stopped training.
Yeah.
And ironically, August 1st, which is the Swiss national holiday of 1997, I thought, yeah, maybe I should drag my butt back into the Single Scull and see how it felt. Because I pretty much was not rowing for at least 7 months. And so August 1st, I go back into the boat, say, hey, I said to Aaron, I said, hey, look, I think I should probably row again.
Yeah.
And then the weirdest thing that was hurting, was the back of my knees. You know why? Because I was so heavy that the bow was going down into the boat.
Oh my
and then
goodness.
to try and get back to the catch,
Yeah.
I had to pull myself up the slope.
Oh God.
And so
Yeah.
my hamstrings were hurting because I was dragging myself up.
Yeah.
Under normal conditions, when your butt is not as heavy,
Yeah.
you sit on the slope, rolling down to the footboard to get to the next stroke. But if your butt is heavy, plus 40 pounds, the boat lifts like this with the bow ball down, and I had to drag myself up the hill.
Of course, it's like gravity, isn't it? It just works against you.
So shameful.
Yeah.
I felt so much shame.
Yeah.
But okay. So I started training again. And I had gained maturity. This is interesting because, you win the gold medal at age 24. But then at age 25, 26, you go back into training. You're a different animal. You're a totally different animal. You're more mature. Because here's the thing, right? The maturity level for rowers pushes into the 30s. So all of a sudden, you have a body that actually is really, really, really willing to do the work. And so I had a wonderful 1998.
Yeah.
So in 1998, I won everything except the World Championship. Rob won that.
Yeah.
And then in 1999, I came in second behind Rob everywhere.
Yeah. This is Rob Waddell, isn't it? Yeah.
Rob Waddell.
Yeah.
Big New Zealander guy.
I know.
Which, by the way, I've got to say this to the people who listen, who are rowers. Guys, you can trace back the success of rowers based on the coaches they had. So Harry Mann was my coach. And Harry Mann, whoever he dealt with, any friend, any coach that considered themselves a friend of Harry Mann, they talked. And they know how to coach people efficiently. And these people that are coached the way Harry coached them are fast. So Rob was one of them. And what was interesting about Rob is that I beat Rob 2 months before the Sydney Olympics at the World Cup in Vienna.
Okay.
That was my only race. That was my only race in 2000. Because see, in 2000, I had 2 children. I didn't want to travel around.
Yeah.
So I was doing all my training, and I was supposed to do 2 races that the summer before the Sydney Olympics.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go to Vienna.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to go to Amsterdam to get qualified for the Olympics. So I go to Vienna. I win Vienna against Rob and the entire field. And then on the way back in the airport, I was supposed to take the plane to Amsterdam because of the Hollandbecker. And right below it was the LA flight. And I call up the travel agent, and a travel agent for the Swiss team, and I said, "Hey, can you put me on the LA flight? I want to go home."
Yeah.
And I was crying. I was crying on the phone when I said that. Hey, I'm homesick.
Yeah.
And she said, "Okay, are you sure that Marty's going to be okay with that?" I said, "I think he is. I'll have to tell him. I did win the World Cup. I think that should be enough."
Yeah.
And then she books me, and she says, "Okay, you're good. You can pick up the boarding pass at the check-in counter." And I took off.
Oh my goodness! So this all happened on the fly, effectively at the airport.
Yeah,
You switched from one straight back to LA.
I never went back to Switzerland.
Oh my goodness!
And so what was funny is that Marty said, "Holy crap! Good thing that you won the World Cup, because I think it'll be okay for the Swiss Olympic Committee to select you for the 2000 Olympics."
Yeah.
So, look, Sydney was amazing. Marty knew that I needed to bring my entire family. My mother-in-law came, Aaron, the 2 children. We drove from Moorvillumba down to Penrith in one of those Holdens. There's a Ford Holden or whatever it is.
Right.
We had a great time. It was awesome. You know, what's amazing is that I was in the best shape of my life in 2000. Best shape of my life.
Right.
And weird thing was that every morning during the week of the racing, I woke up with a sore throat. No clue why. Zero.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everything was fine, right?
Yeah.
But then in the final, when we were 5 seconds ahead, I blew in the last 500 meters so badly.
Yeah.
That the commentator said, "Oh yeah, Rob Medalist is taking off," but it was a reverse. It was me falling behind.
Yeah.
The engine completely shut down, right? And then you had Porter. It was like
an optical illusion, wasn't it? It looks like Rob's going past, but he's basically just holding the same speed, and you were just.
I died.
Yeah.
I died so badly, and that was hard. That was hard. Oh. Those last 500 meters were the longest last 500 meters of my life.
Do you know what? Anyone who does a 2K erg, they will relate to this, because if you blow on that, it is brutal at the end. Absolutely brutal.
You never get there. It's like it really is like it's like
it's moving further away from you, isn't it?
Yeah, you try to run as fast as possible, and the monsters come in and wants to rip your head off.
And it's like those dreams where you're trying to run and you can't move. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
So luckily, I walked away with a silver medal, and it was great. You know. But so now you think, okay, when were you thinking about stopping competitive rowing? And I'll do it in a nutshell. Okay.
Yeah.
2001, I went to the World Championship, but I started cutting corners. I didn't acclimate long enough. Had 3 children by then. Logistics became more difficult. Sooner or later, it was just too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
And that's how we ended up slowly realizing that I need to hang it up.
Yeah.
Okay? But it's not easy. It's not easy to hang it up.
No.
Because
I suppose it was such a big part of your life, wasn't it? And it's just part of your daily sort of routine, your monthly routine. It's all what you used to. Yeah.
And it was the income. It was the income.
Of course.
See, I was one of the few athletes that actually was making enough money to live.
Right.
So I was thinking, what the bloody hell am I going to do in the United States as a Swiss?
Yeah.
How am I going to afford anything? So I started an indoor rowing studio, and that's when you and I got together.
Yeah, that was the Iron Oarsman, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I loved it.
Yeah.
The thing that was interesting about that is I was one of the very first people to do that.
Yeah.
And I really loved chatting with people and teaching them rowing.
Yeah.
And it was good. The problem was I only had 12 or 14 machines in the room. If I had 50 machines in the room, maybe I would have still done it today.
Yeah.
But I couldn't scale it. I couldn't duplicate Xenos out of me. And at the time, I couldn't run it online, and that's also difficult
Yeah, because the
to
internet
make money
wasn't as
running it online.
advanced then, was it? I mean, God, you were struggling to
No.
get. I mean, you got
Right.
5G now, and like we were lucky to get 1 or 2 meg download
Right.
speed back then. It was just
Right.
wasn't happening. Yeah.
So you know, it was like Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
But then luckily, a couple of friends of mine said, "Hey, Xeno, you have to focus on a different market.
Yeah.
You matter the most for people who want to go as fast as possible."
Yeah.
And luckily, in the United States, there is a very competitive environment to get into awesome schools with a great rowing program,
Right.
and where the ERG score really matters. I mean,
Yeah.
the ERG score, I say it always, the Scholastic Ability Test, the SAT in the United States,
Right.
for rowing is the ERG score.
Oh,
So
okay.
the way the college coaches build their recruiting ladder is by checking what people pull on the ERG.
Right.
And and luckily I was taught the right things.
Yeah.
To teach people online how to do
Yeah.
it and how to navigate it emotionally.
Right.
You know, see reason in the insanity to do it, because it's nuts.
Do you know what? It's so true, isn't it? Especially on the ERG, because you know, with me, I've been in a boat once in 25 years, but I've been on the ERG all the time, and it's just the amount of head games, because you're just staring at a monitor, and the monitor doesn't lie, and sometimes we wish it would and tell us better news. But you know, if we're having an off day,
I've got to tell you, John, I've got to tell you, one thing that I noticed in my way of living, now is social media, because you know, you were the one about 10 years ago who said, "Hey, Xeno, you should check out Instagram."
Right.
And Instagram was around more than 10 years.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was. I joined it in 2012.
Ruby's in Laguna Beach.
Yeah.
Ruby's in Laguna Beach. He said, "Hey, Xeno, look, Instagram."
Yeah.
And one thing I've got to tell you is, I have learned a lot about body weight exercises, yoga, calisthenics. And I've got to tell you, I would have been a faster rower had I had access to such information when I was young.
Wow.
Because, see, when I was young, when I was a teenager, you know, we had the standard lifts.
Yeah.
Okay. The bodybuilding lifts, pretty standard.
Yeah.
Right. Pretty square.
Yeah.
But now there's so much fun stuff. I'm not that it didn't exist then. Yeah. But no one knew about it because there was no way to share it.
No, it's true, wasn't it? Yeah.
Now I'm addicted to seeing other exercises. Yeah. And I feel like, I want to do it, right? And I'm 51. Yeah. And I want to feel that range of motion that these people have. Yeah. And it's fun. That's a game. It's exciting. And you know, and so the people who do Wipeout, right? Yeah. You guys have to be extremely versatile with your bodies, because you guys going to be flung into all directions, and you better make sure that the body parts stay attached, right?
Well, we got flung around quite a bit on that show. That's why we had helmets, neck braces, and body armor.
And I'm telling you, this calisthenics and everything, so cool. The range of motion, I love it. And you know, some people are gonna say, okay, quit fanboying about this. This has been around for a while, but remember, the longer you've been around, the shorter this thing has been around. Yeah. And so for me, this has been really a lot of fun. I love it. Yeah. I can almost do the splits.
You know what?
You can do it.
I got to tell you this with the splits and this. When you were winning at Atlanta, just before those Olympics, in my mind, I thought, I want to learn how to do the splits. And every day I was trying to go that little bit further down. And then what happened, when I got as far as I could, I tried to bounce a little bit. I actually hit the floor and I heard and felt like a towel ripping. I tore my hamstring. And it took 5 months. So when you were doing, when you were winning gold medal, I tore my hamstring. And then the year after I did Wipeout, I did this obstacle course event with a cargo net. And as I was going up the cargo net, I slipped, my leg stayed up, I went down and I tore my hamstring again. So yes, doing the splits, I've accidentally done the splits twice and torn my hamstring twice. So painful.
Well,
Yeah.
no. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah.
This is one of the. It's hard to stay rational.
Yeah.
When you have too much fun, when you
Yeah.
end up having too much fun, it's actually hard to stay focused, to not become stupid.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
yeah. I think
I've done a few
I
stupid
think
things.
that's going to be for the rest of my life.
Yeah. But this is
Oh my gosh,
do you know what? It's funny what you say about Instagram, because I found it's quite, because the thing I learned with all the injuries I was getting was that I needed to learn about how to, I didn't know anything about mobility and stretching and all that sort of stuff. Whereas I've been forced to learn it now because my body was telling me, yeah, you can't walk upstairs at the moment.
Right.
My back was giving out, and it was, and this is where it's so YouTube, Instagram, you can find answers to most questions on it. So it's been, yeah, the information age, isn't it? That's what we're in. It helps.
Yeah. And look. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm sure your listeners know about it. I mean, I have become so brilliant in telling my story in writing because I have ChatGPT edit my talking.
Oh, really?
I talk into ChatGPT my stories, and I say, listen, ChatGPT.
Right.
Make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, bring some urgency into it.
Right.
And then it does it for me, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
What I'm saying is you have to evolve with the time. Okay? If you have information that will make you physically and mentally sharper, use it. Yeah. Now we have ChatGPT. Completely besides what we were talking about. Yeah. But we have to progress. Yeah, with how things are changing. Yeah, and so because it's easy for me to talk, but it's really hard for me to write it all out and sound like I'm literate, right? Yeah. So, but now you just talk into it and say, okay, now please make me sound like I know what I'm talking about.
So okay, because I've never used ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Oh, did you know that in France? Wait. Did you know that in French, chat GPT means cat I farted? Chat GPT. Chat is a cat. GPT I farted. So every time they talk about it in French, chat GPT.
That goes through your mind.
Anyhow, you tell me. Sorry, I interrupted.
No.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, because a friend of mine was telling me about it as well. So does it you put you give it a load of information, and does it give you like a script or what to say, or does it actually mimic your voice and say something? How does
right now it's a language model, a written language model. Yesterday they start letting you upload pictures, right? And you ask it, hey, how can I improve the look of my living room? Right. It looks at the picture and then tells you what you can do to improve the look of your living room.
Right.
No. It is sick. Okay. Yeah. When you talk to ChatGPT, you ask it to help you. Yeah. And here's the other thing that was really fun was I asked ChatGPT to ask me questions about my job. Yeah. So I can answer, so I can publish it so people understand what I do. I'm an elite rowing coach. Yeah. How, without giving away my secrets, how do people realize that they need me? Right. Okay. Because that's the whole thing, right? You have to, if you sell the dream, etc. But you've
got to market it to the right people in the right place.
Right. Yeah. So that's one thing, but that's just the tiny surface of the iceberg. ChatGPT can program in different computer languages. Right. So if someone has a Python issue, and you tell ChatGPT, listen, I'm trying to run this on Python, and I have these different data points that we need to organize and select. It's listening to you and says, hey, why don't you try it this way?
Right?
Yeah. And then it spits out Python at the code.
Yeah.
And then you can plug it in and see if it works. If it doesn't work, you say, hey, can you please rewrite it because it's not quite working. No.
Whoa.
Such an exciting time. It's insane.
Do you know what? This almost feels like when we used to watch sci-fi films in the 80s and we would imagine what the future is like. We're in it now, aren't we? It's just, yeah. I mean, look at this.
And I don't know.
Look at this with watches, right? I used to watch Knight Rider in the 80s, and we used to think it was funny when he would talk to his watch, it would talk to him. That's commonplace now, isn't it? You know, it's yeah, everyone expects it.
No, it's amazing. I don't know. Listen, John, I don't know if you've ever been driven around a Tesla.
Do you know what? A friend of mine has got one, but I haven't had a ride in it yet because you've got one, haven't you? What?
Yeah. Look, it is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And now they're uploading video in order for the AI to learn.
Right.
So they're not writing code anymore. Now they're just pushing in video. This is called end-to-end. This is called end-to-end encryption. Or meaning there's no more code.
Yeah.
It's learning visually what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And that will then progress over to the robots.
Right.
So we have no concept. Me, the foot soldier, I have no idea how fast things are going to evolve. All I know is that it's
moving quick. Well, do you know what? I saw Elon, he posted something. I can't get used to calling it X. I still think it's Twitter, but
I know.
The self-driving thing with the Tesla, he did a live stream once, and it was I think outside the Tesla headquarters. And I watched some of that video, and it's like it's literally he kept saying we haven't given it any instructions.
No code.
It's learning as it's going around, and it's figuring out how to drive. It was incredible to see. So.
It's really great.
Yeah. You know? So you never know. I might get a car eventually that will come up to this. I'm lagging a bit behind the times at the moment.
No. Listen. In 2 or 3 years, people have robotaxis.
Yeah.
People are not going to buy cars anymore.
Yeah.
That's the other mind-boggling thing. But I know we're diverging in all sorts of directions.
Yeah.
But the point is, right? There's so many ways. You mentioned at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
That so many people watched the 96 Olympics.
Yeah.
Right? And now that the numbers are a little bit down.
Yeah.
But the numbers are down because people have other ways to entertain themselves.
It's true. Yes.
There's so many different ways to entertain themselves because of how media has evolved.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's amazing how much variety there is now, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
But you know, we have to evolve with it, and this is why I'm thinking that rowing, for example, should have some more interesting spectator sports than just a 2,000-meter race course.
Well,
we should have a wipeout rowing type of regatta.
Well, that would be fun. People falling off and everything. That would be fun. I'll tell you what has been getting popular now. You know, because when you and I first met, you take the British Championships and the Crash Bees, the World Champs. It was just 2,000 meters all the time, but there was a lot of powerful sprinters, and there was nothing for them. Now we've got sprint events and relay. You know, when I did the 100K world record, you know, the 10-man relay. They've now got relay races at the British and the World Champs. You know, it's typically now it's four people, 4,000 meters. You're jumping on and off the machine quickly, and it's amazing. It's amazing to watch.
And you know, the shorter the distance, the more massive the guys are.
I know. Yeah,
it becomes more interesting to watch.
Yeah,
you get monsters.
Oh yeah,
in a good way.
But
the shorter the distance, the more of a monster it is.
Do you know what's been fun as well? Sometimes here at the British Champs, I think it was in 2017, loads of the Team GB squad were in action at the British, and in the women's relay event, Team GB managed to form 6 different squads. So they had 4 women in each, and there was 6 squads, and then there was a few girls from my gym, and they basically were snapping at the heels at Team GB. They came 7th in the end. But if you saw the size difference, one of the girls in the team was about 4'11", and then you have Victoria Thornley, who's about 6'6", and they were snapping at her heels. It was. I'll show you the photo later. It was an amazing thing. But all it was, the girls at my gym, they practiced the changeovers. They were on and off the machine. And they could get on and off the machine in 1 second. 1 second, in and out. That's it.
That should make a huge difference.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so the amount of power deficit they had, they made up for in changeover speed. So that's one area that I really think that indoor rowing, if more people had chance to train together, you know, especially on the relays, I really think that would make a big difference. So
you know, it's interesting. I'm most likely going to branch out into executive leadership training,
right?
Through rowing.
Okay.
And the rowing machine, and you know, the little goals and challenges.
Yeah.
You've got to do it. You've got to do it. It helps people understand themselves better. Yeah. But also, what's interesting is, you know, the gallows humor. Now you think, wait. Why is there gallows humor?
Right.
If you do something that's not comfortable, you have to find the humor in it.
Yeah.
Therefore, gallows humor.
Right.
That is something that you only get to try out if you put yourself into an uncomfortable situation.
Right.
Okay. And you get to discover yourself in such a situation, and then you learn something about yourself. And some people may need a little bit of a pointer as to how to stay positive. Right?
Yeah.
The thing is, there is such a wonderful world that you're the proof, right? You're bringing indoor rowing together with people on Wipeout.
Yeah.
Okay. You connect people. Okay. You bring me in front of people who like Wipeout. I think this is so wonderful, and I mean, I'm really grateful for you, John.
You know what? Honestly, getting to know you was just amazing. I remember when I still remember the first day I met you. This is what, 2004, when I first went to Cali. And I honestly, I don't know, I may not have said to you at the time, when I met you at the Iron Oarsman, I got the flight came to see you. Honestly, I was almost inside. I was sort of like shaking. I was like, you know, you can't get your words out, all this sort of stuff. And I was like, and you just calmed me down straight away. You said, John, look, we're all people. We're all people. It's fine. Okay. You know. It's fine.
We all smell bad on the toilet.
That's exactly what you said. I remember.
Even the Pope smells bad. Let's not forget that.
I know.
We're all carbon-based people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny as well? I'll leave you with that. Is that think about how small the world is. Okay, that's mind-boggling, because now we see we know more about space. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, they already knew a lot about space 50 years ago, except I didn't. Yeah. But now that I'm older, I start to realize, holy cow, we are like on this tiny little ball flying around the sun. I mean, it's insane that we argue on over certain things, right?
Yeah.
And but it shows, the more people realize that we're in it together, the more fun we're going to have.
It's true.
Okay, the more fun we're going to have.
Do you know what? I think
I've got to go, John.
That's okay. That's okay. Look, Xeno, thanks ever so much. It's been absolutely amazing chatting. I knew we were capped at about 40 to 50 minutes, and I know we're just about there, but honestly, absolutely amazing. Just as a final thing, what would you say to someone? Let's say someone. Okay, we've got the British rowing champs coming up in December. 2000 meter race.
Yes.
Off the cuff now, a bit of advice for someone. Maybe it's their first race. If they're a bit nervous, how best approach for a 2000 meter?
Okay, look, guys. The fact that people say you should have a certain footboard height, and the fact that you are supposed to have a certain drag setting is stupid. Right. The one size fits all approach is idiotic.
Right.
So go find out what the best footboard height is and what drag best works for you, and it's good.
Brilliant.
One drag fits all is
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. We got to keep it family friendly. Yeah,
yeah. Test it out. When you're on a road bike, are you only taking one gear? You have the choice of 21 gears.
I know.
How about choosing the right gear when you're on the erg?
Yeah. No, it's so true.
All right, boss.
All right, look, Xeno, thank you so much for chatting, and we'll catch up soon, all right? Take care.
Sounds good, John. Talk to you later. Bye, John.
All right, cheers. Bye. Bye.
Oh, that was great. I love it.
Awesome.